Have you ever heard of a Catback exhaust system for your Mustang with Bluetooth compatibility? Well, me neither, but today we're going to install one on our 2018 Mustang Cheez Whiz. So like I said, this is the XForce Varex, and the heart of it is this muffler system right here. Before I get to that, let's talk about everything else we have on the table. So you're talking about a high-end 304 stainless steel TIG welded Catback. They're going to include two different mid pipes with that kit. You have a resonated and a non-resonated. So you have a choice up front of how much sound you're trying to get from that. And this is a 3-inch Catback with full 3-inch pipes leading to 4-inch double wall tips. Also includes this controller here, and that will allow you to actually control the volume of the exhaust. This will work with either a passive or an active car. Now if you have a passive exhaust, you install it as is. If you have an active, it includes these brackets you mount your factory actuators to, and the system will function like normal. So the heart of the system though is the Varex muffler. Now what is Varex? Varex is a patented technology designed by XForce. We've all seen active exhaust systems where the valves are usually out here in the tip. Well, Varex takes it a step further by moving that valve in the muffler. By using that patented technology to move the valve inside, it allows a whole new level of sound control. Now the basic system is going to give us a couple options, but if you go with the SMARTBox controller, it's basically unlimited. The SMARTBox, we're going to do a full install at a later date, so I'm not going to go into too much information, but it'll allow you to control it via Bluetooth using your cell phone. It'll allow you almost unlimited control. You can work with the factory systems and factory drive modes, and it even has a geofence mode where if you're a certain distance from a home or office, it'll automatically go into quiet mode. So despite all that technology, the XForce Varex is going to be a direct replacement for the factory Catback on your 18 through 23 Mustang. So let's get started with the installation. All right, we're going to begin the installation by removing our factory Catback. First we're going to do, remove these two bolts back here to remove the rear hangers. Moving our front, loosen these 4 bolts. This will loosen these clamps so we can separate the mid pipe from the front pipe. We replaced the exhaust on Cheez Whiz many times, so these have been off before. If your car is new or they've never been removed, these little pieces here, just pry that out. There's little tabs underneath that it has to clear to slide these clamps off the front pipes. All right, so to remove the Catback, you're gonna want a second set of hands. What you're gonna do is slide these clamps back and then push the whole system back against the rear hangers. At that point, the front will drop down, then you slide it forward off the rear hangers, and the entire system comes off as one piece. Before you toss your stock Catback aside, grab the rear rubber hangers and the front clamps as they're both used in the new install. Now you can put the factory clamps back into place. Begin the installation of our XForce. Now since we have factory headers and factory mid pipes, the next step is going to be these adapters. These are going to go from the factory size piping to the piping of our XForce. Now if you do happen to have XForce headers or even another header with a 3-inch outlet, you may not need these, but for stock applications, this is the first step. Like I mentioned in the intro, you have your choice of mid pipes. Both are included with the kit. In my opinion, I think people are going to want a little bit of a louder system, so we're going to go with the non-resonated. But if you have long tube headers or no catch or something like that, you may prefer the sound of the resonated. Place 2 of the provided clamps on the front. Put it up into place. We're ready to work on the tailpipes now. You want to grab the hanger and one of the provided clamps. The hanger will go here, and the clamp is going to go on the front to hold it to the mid pipe. If you're not sure which tailpipe, look at the part number. One ends in R, one ends in L. Our XForce Varex muffler is going to connect to the mid pipe using this flange. So first thing you're going to do, grab the supplied studs. I'm going to thread them in. 3 shitty threads. The stud's in place. I'm going to slide on the gasket. Start by putting it in the hanger. I'm going to connect to the mid. Install the supplied nuts. With the muffler in place, you're going to repeat the process on the other side. Then we can start to actually fit it better, adjust, and tighten. We're ready to start adjustments. We're going to start by reinstalling the bolts for the hangers. You have the system where you're happy with it. Last thing to do, tighten down these front clamps. Before we work on the tips, we're gonna wire up the system. What you're gonna do, there's a grommet over here on the passenger side that's unused. We're gonna take the harness and go up through there. First thing you're gonna do though is just take the grommet out. So we're gonna start fishing the harness into the trunk. You want the end that goes to the controller and then the cigarette lighter port, push them up first, and the rest of the harness stays down. Now here we'll take the factory grommet. You can cut a hole in the middle if you want to. It's often easier just to slice it from the side. Cut right up to the middle. Just got a little split there. Put the harness into the middle of it. Put the grommet back in place. Now we're going to plug the harness into both mufflers. Now basically push the rest of the unused harness up through the grommet into the trunk. If you want to get some zip ties then and clean up the rest of the wiring. Everything else fitted now. We put the tips on. Okay, with the car back in the ground, we're back into the trunk area. Now we have the cigarette lighter adapter and the adapter for the controller. And what you're going to do now is basically fish these through the carpet, under the seat, up into the interior, and then mount it pretty much wherever you want to. As far as this goes, this is obviously designed to plug into your cigarette lighter to power the whole thing. If you wanted a more permanent installation, you can easily cut this off, connect it to power and ground, and it'll be permanently mounted. In our case though, we're just gonna fish the wires through, make the connections, and more importantly, see how it sounds. Once the wire is fished up, connect it to the box, then hide the box under the dash, under the seat, wherever you want. Bring the cord up, connect power. Ignition quick. We get the green light, so our system is on. So this is the remote included by XForce for the Varex system. Basically, if you hold B down, it will close the valve. If you hold A, it opens all the way up. But if you just tap the button, it'll open a quarter each time, which allows you to really dial in the sound. All right, now we're gonna start it up and run you through the different modes. Now again, you have a B and an A. B is gonna be the quietest versions. That's your valve closed, we'll pick a word, and then A is gonna be the wide open, which will be definitely the more awesome setting, the louder setting. So we'll start with B, and then what I'm gonna do is leave it at idle, and I'll go through the different adjustment modes, and then we'll do the same thing, but revving it. So this is B, valve closed. Open a little bit, halfway, 3/4, and all the way. Now go back to quiet. And now we'll do some revs, again, starting at full closed. %. 50%. 75. And wide open. The XForce Varex really takes that whole active exhaust system and turns it up a notch, giving you full control right at your fingertips. One thing I just noticed too, whatever mode you leave it in when you shut the car off, it turns back on in that mode. So it doesn't default to quiet or anything like that. Now again, the SMARTBox controller we will show you in a future video turns this up even more and kind of makes the first smart exhaust system with full Bluetooth compatibility, which is pretty cool. But for now, installation will take you about 2 to 2.5 hours. We'll be back on the road in no time.